Listen to me carefully. Many people are fighting battles they never announced to anyone. Not because the enemy is too strong, but because the voice guiding their life is weak, confused, and divided. Before anyone spoke to you, before the world gave you a label, before circumstances tried to define you, there was already a conversation going on inside you. That conversation did not start today. It did not start when trouble came. It has been shaping your direction quietly, faithfully, every single day. The way you speak to yourself is the first prophecy over your life. Long before events happen, words happen. Long before doors open or close, conversations take place within you. Many people are praying for change, yet they are speaking against themselves every morning. They say they want progress, but their inner voice is full of fear. They say they want peace, but their inner voice keeps rehearsing yesterday's pain. You cannot rise above the level of the voice you trust the most. And the voice you trust the most is not the voice of people around you. It is the voice you speak to yourself when no one is listening. For 3 days, not 3 years, not forever. Just 3 days, I want you to become aware of the words you speak within. Because 3 days of the right conversation can interrupt a lifetime of wrong direction. 3 days of alignment can expose years of disorder. 3 days of truth spoken in secret can shake lies that have ruled openly. The problem is not that people talk to themselves. Everyone does. The problem is how they talk to themselves. Some speak to themselves as victims, others as failures, others as people waiting to be rescued. But the moment you change the tone of that inner conversation, you change the authority of your life. When you wake up in the morning, before your phone speaks to you, before the news speaks to you, before fear reminds you of what you don't have, speak to yourself deliberately. Say to yourself, I am not the sum of my past mistakes. I am not ruled by yesterday's disappointments. I am not defined by what went wrong. Today, my steps are ordered. Today, my mind is clear. Today, my spirit is alert. Speak it even when you don't feel it, because feelings follow words, not the other way around. If you wait to feel strong before speaking strength, you will remain silent forever. Many people say, I am just being honest with myself. But honesty without faith becomes cruelty. You keep reminding yourself of your weakness, your failures, your lack, and you call it realism. But realism that ignores divine possibility is still deception. Speak to yourself with truth that carries hope. Tell yourself, I am growing even when I am silent. I am learning even when I fall. I am being prepared even when I don't see results. The seed does not shout while it grows under the soil. Yet one day it breaks the ground. Speak to yourself as someone who understands process, not pressure. For 3 days, refuse to insult yourself. Some people would never speak to others the way they speak to themselves. You call yourself useless, slow, unlucky, forgotten. You replay conversations where you fail. You rehearse rejection as if it is your future. Stop it. From today, speak to yourself with dignity. Say, I carry value. I am not an accident. I am not late. I am being arranged. Even delays are working for my understanding. Even silence is shaping my discernment. When you speak like this, you may not feel immediate excitement, but something deeper happens. Your spirit straightens its back. You must understand this. The mind listens when the mouth speaks. Thoughts are influenced by spoken words. When fear knocks on your heart, answer it out loud. Say, I acknowledge the fear, but I refuse its control. I have survived worse than this. I have overcome things I never thought I could. This moment will not bury me. Speak to yourself as someone who has evidence of resilience. Do not exaggerate the problem. Remind yourself of the strength you carry. The enemy loves a quiet mouth and a loud fear. Reverse it. For 3 days, speak direction to yourself. Many people are tired, not because they are doing too much, but because they are doing too many things without clarity. Speak clarity into your life. Say, my focus is returning. My energy is no longer scattered. I know what deserves my attention and what does not. I release what drains me. I embrace what builds me. Speak order into your day. Speak discipline into your habits. Speak restraint into your emotions. The mouth can train the mind, and the mind can discipline the body. When temptation comes, do not argue silently. Speak to yourself firmly. Say, this thing does not own me. I am bigger than this urge. I am not controlled by impulse. I am guided by wisdom. The reason many fall repeatedly is because they negotiate inwardly instead of declaring authority outwardly. Your spoken words draw lines that your emotions must respect. Talk to yourself like a leader talks to their inner circle with firmness, clarity, and purpose. For 3 days, speak peace to yourself. Some of you have noisy minds. Even in rest, your thoughts are working overtime. Speak calm into that noise. Say, slow down, breathe. This moment does not require panic. I choose peace over pressure. I choose trust over anxiety. Peace is not the absence of trouble. It is the presence of assurance. When you speak peace repeatedly, your nervous system listens. Your heart rate responds. Your body begins to cooperate with your faith. Do not speak words that bind you. Avoid statements like, this always happens to me, or nothing ever works for me. Those words create patterns. Replace them. Say, this season is teaching me. Say, I am breaking cycles. Say, new outcomes are emerging. Language shapes expectation, and expectation influences behavior. When you expect defeat, you act carelessly. When you expect progress, you act intentionally. For 3 days, speak gratitude to yourself. Gratitude is not denial of pain. It is recognition of grace within it. Say, I am thankful for how far I have come. I am thankful for lessons learned the hard way. I am thankful for strength I did not know I had. Gratitude shifts your inner posture from entitlement to appreciation. And appreciation attracts clarity. When you speak gratitude, bitterness loses its voice. Speak patience to yourself. Say, I do not need to rush. What is meant for me will not miss me. I am allowed to grow at my pace. Comparison is a thief that enters through silent thoughts. Speak freedom from comparison. Say, my journey is unique. My timing is intentional. I bless others without measuring myself against them. When you stop competing inwardly, you start progressing steadily. For 3 days, speak hope when you are tired. Say, this fatigue is not the end of me. Rest is coming. Strength is renewing. I am allowed to pause without quitting. Many people quit inwardly long before they quit outwardly. Guard that inner decision. Speak perseverance. Say, I will take the next step, not the whole staircase. Consistency is built by small, faithful declarations repeated daily. Speak forgiveness to yourself. Some of you are carrying guilt like a badge. You punish yourself repeatedly for what you have already learned from. Speak release. Say, I forgive myself. I choose wisdom over shame. I am not perfect, but I am progressing. Shame weakens resolve, but mercy strengthens discipline. When you speak forgiveness, you remove the weight that slows your future. For 3 days, speak identity. Say, I am not confused. I am discovering. I am not broken. I am being refined. I am not weak. I am becoming aware of my need for strength. Identity spoken consistently becomes identity lived confidently. Stop waiting for people to affirm you. Affirm yourself with truth that aligns you. As you do this for 3 days, something subtle will happen. Your reactions will slow down. Your decisions will become cleaner. Your emotions will stop ruling the room. Not because life suddenly became easy, but because your inner government has changed. When your inner voice becomes stable, external noise loses influence. You will notice that things that once triggered you now pass without control. That is growth. Do not underestimate these 3 days. They are not magic. They are alignment. They are not denial. They are discipline. You are training your inner world to speak before your outer world collapses. You are choosing to lead yourself instead of dragging yourself. After 3 days, continue if you can. But even if you stop, you will never forget what it feels like to speak life intentionally. Remember this. Circumstances respond slowly, but the inner world responds immediately. The moment you change the conversation, you change the direction of influence. Speak to yourself like someone entrusted with responsibility. Speak to yourself like someone whose future matters. Speak to yourself like someone who understands that words are not noise. They are instructions. Stand firm in this practice. When you feel weak, speak strength. When you feel lost, speak guidance. When you feel delayed, speak trust. Your mouth is not just for prayer in public, it is for leadership in private. Lead yourself well, and your life will follow. Listen carefully. Patterns do not begin in actions. They begin in agreements. Long before something becomes a habit, it first becomes a sentence you accept inwardly. Many people are trapped not because chains are strong, but because words have been repeated for too long. A pattern is simply a permission you have unknowingly renewed every day. When you speak wrongly for years, life arranges itself to match that language. When you speak fear, fear organizes your decisions. When you speak defeat, defeat learns your address. But understand this truth deeply. Patterns that took years to form can be interrupted quickly when the agreement is broken. It does not take forever to stop something that was sustained by repetition. It takes clarity and authority. 3 days of right speech can disrupt long patterns because patterns survive on consistency, not truth. A lie does not need to be strong. It only needs to be repeated. Many of you have been repeating the same sentences internally for years. This is how my life is. Nothing changes for me. People like me don't succeed. These words may sound harmless, but they are instructions. Life is obedient. It responds to the strongest voice governing your inner world. For years, that voice has been careless, fearful, defeated, or bitter. So life followed that script faithfully. But the moment the script changes, life pauses. It hesitates. It begins to rearrange. 3 days is not a ritual. It is a disruption. It is enough time to shock the system. It is enough time to expose resistance. It is enough time to reveal how addicted you have become to speaking wrongly. On the first day, when you begin to speak differently, it will feel uncomfortable. Your mind will resist. Your emotions will protest. Old thoughts will rise louder than before because patterns fight hardest when they sense eviction. That resistance is not failure. It is evidence that something is shifting. When darkness is challenged by light, it does not leave quietly. On the first day, you will catch yourself wanting to say, what you always say. You will feel the familiar words rising to your mouth. Pause there. That pause is powerful. In that pause, you are breaking momentum. Patterns are lazy. They rely on automatic behavior. The moment you become conscious, the pattern loses speed. Speak deliberately. Speak slowly. Speak words that carry direction instead of reaction. Even if your voice shakes, speak. Authority is not volume, it is alignment. On the second day, something interesting happens. You will notice silence between thoughts. The noise will reduce slightly. You will realize that you do not have to comment on everything happening in your mind. You will see that thoughts are suggestions, not commands. This is where many people fail, because they think the thought is them. But you are not every thought that passes through you. You are the one who decides which thought gets a voice. On the second day, when you choose the right words again, the old pattern weakens further. It starts losing its grip because it no longer hears agreement. By the third day, the inner environment begins to change. Not everything will be perfect, but something will be different. Your reactions will be slower. Your emotions will be less explosive. Your decisions will feel less pressured. This is not coincidence. This is reconditioning. Just as the wrong words trained your mind over years, the right words begin retraining it immediately. The mind is a servant, not a master. It follows what it hears most consistently. Long patterns survive because they feel familiar. Familiarity is often mistaken for truth. People say, this is just who I am, when in reality, it is just what they have been repeating. Identity is shaped by language. If you speak weakness long enough, weakness becomes your personality. If you speak limitation long enough, limitation becomes your comfort zone. But the moment you speak differently, your identity begins to stretch. Stretching feels painful, but it is proof of growth. 3 days of right speech does not mean pretending everything is fine. It means refusing to poison your future with careless language. It means acknowledging reality without surrendering authority. You can say, this is difficult, without saying, this will destroy me. You can say, I am tired, without saying, I am finished. The difference between those statements is direction. One observes, the other surrenders. Right speech does not deny the problem, it denies the problem the final word. Patterns related to fear are the easiest to expose during these 3 days. Fear thrives on imagination fueled by words. When you stop describing the worst outcome repeatedly, fear loses its pictures. When fear loses its pictures, it loses its power. Speak stability, speak assurance, speak remembrance of past victories. Remind yourself out loud of moments you survived. Memory is a weapon when used correctly. Many people remember only pain. Train yourself to remember strength. Patterns related to failure also begin to shake. Failure repeats itself when it becomes a label instead of a lesson. Speak learning, not condemnation. Say, I am wiser now. Say, I see what I didn't see before. Say, this experience refined me. When you speak this way, failure stops being a destination and becomes a teacher. Patterns collapse when their meaning changes. What once discouraged you now educates you. Patterns related to delay and frustration begin to weaken as well. When you stop calling waiting a curse and start calling it preparation, impatience loses its authority. Speak patience with confidence. Say, what is meant for me is being arranged. Say, timing is working in my favor. These words calm the inner rush that leads to wrong decisions. Many people ruin good futures because they are tired of waiting inwardly. Right speech stabilizes the waiting season. Even patterns related to relationships can be disrupted. If you have been speaking distrust, rejection, or loneliness over yourself, those words shape how you show up. People respond to the posture you carry inwardly. When you speak value, boundaries, and peace, your posture changes. You stop begging emotionally. You stop tolerating disrespect. Not because others changed first, but because your inner language changed your standards. 3 days of right speech also exposes how much power you have been giving to external voices. Opinions, criticism, praise, rejection, these things only gain power when they are repeated inwardly. What people say matters less than what you rehearse. When you stop repeating external noise inside you, it fades. Speak independence. Say, I receive what builds me and release what drains me. This is not arrogance. It is stewardship of the mind. Do not underestimate how spiritual this practice is. Words are not just psychological. They are directional. They set atmosphere. They invite influence. When you speak rightly, you align yourself with order. Disorder thrives in careless speech. Confusion survives where language is vague and negative. Clarity begins when words are intentional. Speak clarity into your thoughts. Speak direction into your emotions. Speak restraint into your impulses. During these 3 days, you may notice old memories resurfacing. This is normal. Patterns often hide behind memories. When a memory rises, do not argue with it silently. Speak over it. Say, I learned. Say, I grew. Say, that season no longer defines me. Memory loses control when it is reinterpreted. You are not rewriting history. You are reclaiming authority over its meaning. Consistency during these 3 days matters more than intensity. You do not need to shout. You need to be steady. Speak in the morning. Speak during pressure. Speak before sleep. Nighttime words are powerful because they sink into the subconscious. Do not sleep rehearsing fear. Do not sleep condemning yourself. Speak rest. Speak trust. Speak expectation of renewal. The mind listens even when the body rests. Long patterns often return when vigilance disappears. That is why these 3 days are training, not performance. You are learning how to lead yourself. You are learning how to interrupt thoughts instead of entertaining them. Leadership is first practiced inwardly. If you cannot lead your words, you cannot lead your life. Right speech is not motivational talk. It is governance. You may ask, why 3 days? Because it is long enough to build awareness and short enough to remove excuses. Anyone can commit to 3 days. Resistance exposed in 3 days reveals what has been ruling you for years. When you see how hard it is to speak rightly for 3 days, you understand how deeply the old pattern was rooted. Awareness is the beginning of freedom. As you continue speaking rightly, you will notice your actions adjusting naturally. Discipline becomes easier. Choices become clearer. This is because behavior follows belief, and belief is reinforced by language. You stop forcing change outwardly and start allowing it inwardly. That is sustainable transformation. Remember, patterns do not break because life becomes gentle. They break because agreement changes. When you stop agreeing with fear, fear loses residence. When you stop agreeing with limitation, limitation loses authority. When you stop agreeing with defeat, defeat becomes temporary instead of permanent. 3 days of right speech can disrupt long patterns because truth spoken consistently is stronger than lies spoken habitually. Even if the pattern does not disappear completely, it will never feel as powerful again. Once exposed, it cannot rule in the same way. You will recognize it when it tries to return. You will hear it in the tone of certain thoughts. And when you hear it, you will know how to respond. Speak again. Speak calmly. Speak firmly. Speak as someone who understands that words are seeds. You may not see the harvest immediately, but the soil has heard you. The inner ground responds first. Outer change follows inner alignment. When the inner conversation changes, direction changes. When direction changes, outcomes eventually follow.